We're here at the Arabiya debate in Davos on the balance of power in the Middle East. And in a few minutes on the stage behind me right here, a panel of experts are going to be answering questions that you've submitted on youtube.com/Davos and voted to the top as they debate the balance of power in the Middle East. So stay tuned.
Let me pass now, read I'll come back to you. One of the questions.
Having a private and a
Please
public.
allow me first to read the question by YouTube. We thank YouTube for all the responses we got on this session. Everyone who participated in this, thank you so much. One of the questions was, the world has witnessed the bombing of the Iraqi and Syrian nuclear facilities, yet the reactors in North Korea and Iran remain untouched. Would the international community prefer to keep the Arab world out of the nuclear balance of power, and is that a good or bad thing? Mr. Haig, this question is for you. I hear that Arabs don't have a problem with Iran now as much as they have a problem with Israel, whereas the world, the biggest problem now is Iran rather than Israel. So where do you stand?
Well, I think you've heard a number of things. I think some Arabs have an entirely different problem with Iran from the problem with Israel. That is absolutely the case.
It's not as immediate as I understood from them.
Well, there was something in the, and I must come back to this new question. There was something in the question from our friend in Lebanon, and I don't want to exaggerate, but as a shadow foreign minister, I can say things that not all foreign ministers can say. But then once I'm the foreign minister, I will say no, all foreign ministers speak say the same in private as in public. But there is a difference, because there are some countries around the region who do not make speeches that are hostile to Iran's intentions, but then they do say to Western nations, you must do something about, I'm not saying they call for military action, but you must do something about what is happening, the nuclear intentions of Iran. And so that is why it is so important. It is important. No, it's not just whispering. That is why, that is an indication of how important it is to deal with this issue. The countries that will lose out most, that will be destabilized most, if nuclear weapons are acquired by Iran, are the Arab nations. And so it is very important. There is nothing that is in this approach and in the way we are trying to work with Iran to make sure there is a peaceful development of nuclear power in Iran. Nothing in that is hostile to Arab nations in the way that your questioner fears.
This is from Salma, Washington, D.C. She says, what are Middle Eastern leaders doing to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? To what extent can resolving this conflict contribute to winning the war on modern terrorism?
I think the question should be, what are they not doing to achieve peace? I mean, they have, I'll talk, if I may, about Jordan. His Majesty, since he became king 10 years ago, has made it his priority to seek peace for not just the Palestinians but the Arabs. Before that, Jordan, with his late Majesty, spent all of his life doing that. And his late Majesty King Abdullah I was killed in Jerusalem for the cause of peace. So we have been doing our utmost for peace, because we realize that the alternative is disastrous. If you don't have peace, then there's more conflict, and there's more bloodshed, and there's more strife, and people will continue to suffer. There has been enough suffering in both the Arab world, Israel, and in the entire world. I agree that a lot of issues of terrorism, either for real or for excuses, have used the Palestinian issue for that. So I think it will have an effect.
I'll go back to the audience, but first I have to ask Mr. Gergely.